Hello and welcome to the old Fliers. The equivalent of 59% of the world's population fly each year. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, and the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, state that in 2023, worldwide, 4.7 billion people flew by air, surpassing the pre-COVID pandemic levels. That equates to 12.9 million people per day. Apart from freight, airlines also earn income from transporting animals by air. 5 to 7 million animals per year, in fact. Global data is not centrally collected as it is for humans, so the figures are good estimates. Breakdowns are based on available reports from key organisations. The value of livestock transport by air is estimated to be between 1 billion to 1.5 billion annually. Airlines would take notice of that. Livestock, such as cattle, pigs, sheep and horses, account for about 200,000 to 400,000, with high-value breeding stock making up the majority. A shipment of high genetic merit dairy cows can be worth hundreds of thousands to millions to rapidly improve herd genetics globally. Flying an elite dairy cow, for instance, a Holstein or Jersey cow, or a boar with superior breeding traits, is more economical than long sea voyages. It also avoids prolonged health and quarantine risks. A single prized racehorse or thoroughbred breeding stallion can be worth tens of millions of dollars. The air freight cost is justified. Racehorses are transported in comfortable horse stalls and are attended by professional flying groomsmen responsible for their safety and well-being. These pampered horses are going to equestrian events like the Olympics, World Equestrian Games, or events like the Melbourne Cup. Irish horse Media Puzzle won the 2002 Melbourne Cup after flying in by air from Ireland. I guess when you're thinking about the live transport of animals, you have to include the 4,000 tonnes of live lobster, crayfish, exported every year from Western Australia in the total. Day-old chicks account for 90% of all animals transported by air. Amazing. The global poultry industry is highly integrated. Breeding farms are centralised and chicks must be delivered to growing farms worldwide within 48 to 72 hours of hatching.
With all the birds tipped in the shed, the lights can come back on. Litter can be spread across the central gangplank where the crates were, and cardboard dividers removed. The next stage is clapping. The day-old chicks are attracted to the clapping noise, and doing so spreads them out more evenly across the shed, meaning that they're more likely to have access to drinking water and not have to fight for nipples and feeders. Final adjustments include making sure drink is at the right height for birds to access, that ventilation and heating is correct in the shed, and that the birds are looking lively and moving around well.
Air freight is the only way to achieve this internationally. Millions are transported every week. A single Boeing 777 freighter can carry over 500,000 chicks in a single flight. Zoos will transport animals in their conservation efforts, requiring specialised handling and permits under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species.
After a 19-hour flight from China, a FedEx plane packed with precious cargo arriving at Dulles Airport this morning. 2 white cargo containers unloaded. Inside, China's newest panda diplomats, Bao Li and Qingbao, 1 male, 1 female, both 3 years old.
There is no statistic on the number of pets, such as birds, cats and dogs, that are transported by air. These may be travelling in the cargo hold or, more commonly, in the cabin now with changed regulations. The IATA Live Animals regulations are the global standards for transporting animals by air. Every airline that ships animals must comply, ensuring their welfare and safety. That limits the operators to those with the right expertise. Key breeding countries like the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand and several EU nations, especially Germany, Netherlands and France, are major exporters of genetic stock. The Middle East, China, Russia, Japan and Southeast Asian countries are large importers of both breeding animals and day-old chicks to support their domestic food security and agricultural development programs. Airports with specialised animal handling facilities such as Liege in Belgium, Luxembourg, Singapore, Dubai, Miami and Anchorage are critical nodes in the global network. While the number of individual animals flown is in the millions, it is overwhelmingly dominated by day-old chicks. Day-old chicks rely on a residual yolk sac for their initial nutritional needs. This internal energy source is sufficient for only the first few days, making timely delivery to their destination crucial. Chicks are sensitive to environmental conditions and cannot regulate their own body temperature at such a young age. Air transport presents significant hazards, including extreme temperatures, low oxygen levels, and lack of humidity. To counteract these risks, specialised conditions are managed during transit. This includes using specially designed climate-controlled containers with laminar ventilation to ensure stable temperatures. The process requires a high level of coordination between airlines, airports and freight handlers to synchronise flight schedules with hatching times and ensure the chicks receive attentive handling. You may well be sharing your next flight with who knows what animals safely tucked away in the cargo hold. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting the like button helps the channel.